Hello, my free-to-play Destiny players. Maybe even some Hunter mains in there. This is your boy Fulcrum. Yes, Destiny 2, Shadowkeep, Beyond Light, and the Witch Queen are free-to-play for all players until, the release of the final shape. Which, yeah, that's great. Because free-to-play players can now experience these campaigns. Also, to PlayStation players, if you go to your PlayStation monthly games, you can find Lightfall in there as well, which I think is very cool for people that don't want to spend $50 to $100 on it. Also, all of the Year 6 seasonal content. So that means Season of the Defiant, Season of the Deep, Season of the Witch, and finally, Season of the Wish, all are free to play as well. And obviously, again, Lightfall, but again, we're talking about that later. Oh wait, no, that was just me rehearsing. Yeah, we are going to talk about Lightfall later. So yeah, let's get right into this. First, I'm going to kind of describe what, you get from the expansions, starting with Shadowkeep. Now, my personal opinion on Shadowkeep is it's not the best, but hey, you might have your own opinion. With Shadowkeep, you get access to a new campaign, Eris Morn's moon bounties, some other thing after completing the campaign. Speak of the campaign, you also get the campaign. You get nightmare hunts, and the raid Garden of Salvation, which has a very good exotic, the most meta raid in the game exotic in Divinity. So yeah, you're going to have to get it next week though, because, Rotator Garden of Salvation is not, and it just sounded like Yoda there. Despite what the trailer here says, you do not get Season of the Undying, because that's gone. Yeah. Pretty much that's all you really get with Shadowkeep. However, it's still quite a bit. Next up is, of course, Destiny 2 Beyond Light. Now, players, or free-to-play players, actually got a taste of stasis in the timeline reflection missions. Which, yeah, that's pretty cool for players that don't have Beyond Light. However, now that it's free-to-play players can officially unlock Stasis full-time. So, what you get with Beyond Light is, obviously, Stasis. My personal favorite raid, the Deep Stone Crypt, a campaign, Europa bounties from Varix, Empire hunts, also from Varix, Sabotage quest from, I think it's obvious at this point, and also you get the Born in Darkness quest after the campaign from the Exo Stranger or Elsie Bray. Also, you get access to about 4 exotics, which are Cloud Strike, No Time to Explain, Lament, and your raid exotic being Eyes of Tomorrow. Me personally, Beyond Light's probably my favorite expansion, but that's up to you to decide if you also like Shadowkeep as much as, or not Shadowkeep, Beyond Light as much as I do. Yeah. And go ahead, enjoy Beyond Light. I definitely suggest it if you're trying to get subclasses and you played that one mission. Yeah. Finally, for your last expansion, the Witch Queen. Now, the Witch Queen has 5 total exotics, including the exotic glaives for Hunter, Titan, and Warlock, the Parasite, which is a pretty good exotic for raids. And your raid exotic being Collective Obligation. Your raid is Valve the Disciple featuring Rolk and is one of the hardest raids in game. Finally, you also get access to the Witch Queen armor and rank from Finch. Let's see, what else do you get? Oh yeah, you also get this thing that I'm not quite sure what it gives you yet. Also, the community says this is the game's best example of storytelling. So yeah, feel free to jump into the Witch Queen. Finally, your seasonal content. You get access to, again, Season of Defiance, Season of the Deep, Season of the Witch, and Season of the Wish. You do not get access to the Lightfall Dungeon Key. However, though, you get access to the seasonal weapons, stories, exotic missions, etc. With Season of Defiance, you get access to, obviously, the companion weapons. Deep Sight now drops from the activities and playlists, so feel free to get the Deep Sight. And you also, after completing the main story, you unlock the conclusion to the story, Retribution, and finally you get access to node.ord.avalon, which gives you the Vex Caliper, which is a very good exotic, if I do say so myself. God, that thing is fun to use. For Season of the Deep, you get access to, obviously, the weapons, salvage operations, deep dives, and that's pretty much it. Oh wait, fishing too. If you really feel like it, wasting all your time on just one of the middest exotics in the game, being Wicked Implement, go ahead. My personal opinion is it's not good. Again, you may have a different opinion on it. Also, it's genuinely my favorite of the Lightfall seasons. So go ahead and give it a try. Of course, you may have a different opinion, but yeah, feel free to jump in. For Season of the Witch, there's no exotic mission whatsoever. However, you get access to Sevenfoon Spire, Altars of Summoning, the seasonal story, Deep Sight Weapons, the Deck of Whispers. Yeah, you actually get quite a bit from this season. Again, people really enjoyed this season. And yeah, however, it's all up to your preference. Now, the current seasonal story, Season of the Wish. Season of the Wish gives you, obviously, Deep Sight weapons. This time also for the reprise weapons, you get access to the seasonal story. Riven's Wishes did come out this season if you haven't already done those. Let's see. Also, you get access to the exotic mission Star-Crossed, which will give you the exotic bow, which is a strand bow, the Wish Keeper, which is honestly very good. Feel free to jump in. Of course, it's all up to what your preferences are. Finally, I'm going to talk Lightfall for the PlayStation players here. Don't be getting mad at them because we're getting an extra expansion for free. I mean, they don't get the dungeon key because it's the $50 version, and you guys have access to literally most of the expansions right now, so I don't want to hear it. Anyway, what you get from Lightfall, free exotics, your raid exarch being the most desirable meta conditional finality, you get access to the Ruined Nightmares raid. Let's see. The campaign and the Strand subclass, which is possibly my favorite subclass. This is old gameplay playing, so yeah. That's why I'm not using Strand. So now, what do I suggest for players to play first? Well, being biased, because let's be real, this is the biased part, and there's no way to really not be biased if I'm suggesting here. I just want to put that out there. But me personally, I definitely suggest Beyond Light. Adding this gameplay in also reminded me that if you play Witch Queen and Beyond Light, you get access to the Exarch Mission Rotators, Vox Obscura, Operation Seraph Shield, and Presage. Sorry, I needed a second to think there. So, I definitely suggest Beyond Light, not because it's my favorite expansion, but because I feel like the raid provides a good challenge for beginners, unlike Ruined Nightmares, where it just feels a little too easy. The campaign, sure, while the main villain is made to be an introduction for a subclass, well, I think you get the gist and could easily understand the story. Also, No Time to Explain and Cloud Strike are very meta for you PvP players, and Lament is good for raids like Crota's End, Deepstone Crypt. That's really all I can think of, but Lament is a good exotic, and I definitely suggest picking it up. Also, I definitely feel like Stasis is kinda a beginner subclass for you guys, especially because I feel like Stasis is the easiest subclass for new players to understand, because I understood it pretty well how to make builds. Stasis is definitely very good for players that want to start learning how to build craft. And Beyond Light isn't anything like over the top crazy. It's just kind of a fun time, you know. It's just kind of fun to play. And you also get the Presage mission, which will be back in 2 weeks. So yeah, that is my main suggestion for new players, or people that want to play their first expansion. Again, it's definitely probably bias going on here, most likely, so yeah. But for, say, wanting a challenge, almost, definitely the Witch Queen. Yeah. That raid is absolutely crazy. And Savafoon for a campaign boss. Yeah, Savafoon is honestly pretty hard to beat for being a simple raid boss. Oh shoot, I meant a campaign boss. But, yeah, that's pretty much my personal opinions. By the way, if you're on PlayStation, definitely pick up Lightfall while it's free, because, you know. And, yeah, definitely get it if you're on PlayStation and are looking to get something new to play, just, you know. Yeah, and Shadowkeep is there, but if you want very, very good exotic for raids, the raid meta. Pick up Divinity next week, or whenever you feel like doing the challenges. Yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you guys. See you next time, and have fun with open access.